Funeral plans are underway in Columbia County after a teenager drowns at a Portage Lake.
Dane County leaders will look at adding a question to this fall's ballot, asking voters about making recreational marijuana legal.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning. It is Thursday, June 21st. We are approximately 43 minutes into the official start of summer.
And we are 62 degrees.
Yeah,
which
feels a lot like
really,
summer.
Yes, very summer-like.
Not really.
Not really.
Not so much.
Really. It's not going to feel like summer today at all. Cool temperatures and rain in the forecast have prompted some flash flood watches for southern Wisconsin. These are the counties that line the Wisconsin-Illinois state border. They start this morning and go through Friday morning. Some places could get up to 3 inches of rain.
Zoinks.
And that's on top of soil that is already saturated. On the radar map this morning, it's been pretty quiet. We've had a few sprinkles here on the west side of town, but the rain is filling in across northern Illinois, and I would expect it to do so in southern Wisconsin over the next couple of hours as well. You can see pretty widespread rain across central Illinois this morning. It's all moving in this direction. The clouds in place and the rain, temperatures are going to be cooler than they should be. 66 is the high today. Add to that an easterly wind at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's your first alert traffic update this morning. Keep in mind that the roads may be wet in some areas. We've had a few showers move through the region. No major delays though to report right now, or accidents either. So you're still going at posted speeds heading into Madison.
That is certainly good news. I think we had some overnight closures yet again. I mean, this rain is just, you never know.
Yeah, and keep in mind, headlights on today with that rain in the forecast.
Absolutely. All right, thanks, Hattie.
You're welcome.
It is 1 minute after the hour right now. There's an autopsy underway today on the Columbia County teenager who was found in a Portage Lake. Dive crews have been searching for Sean Wolfarth since Sunday after he fell off an inner tube in Silver Lake on Father's Day while he was with his family. The area where he went missing is full of weeds and sediment. It took underwater sonar and radar technology from a volunteer company called Bruce's Legacy Search and Rescue to find Sean and to provide some closure to his family.
You know, it's very somber, but it's very rewarding for us to actually give them, you know, to see the relief in their thank yous and the hugs that we got from them. It's what it's all about, it really is.
So you just heard from Keith Cormican there. Now, he was the one who founded Bruce's Legacy. It's an all-volunteer organization named after Wisconsin firefighter Bruce Cormican, who drowned 20 years ago while he was on a canoeing trip with his daughters.
Police in Sun Prairie are looking for any suspects involved in a shots fired incident last night. Detectives say this attempt was targeted and no one was hurt. Officers responded just after 7 p.m. to the Hamilton Place Apartments. That complex is just off Highway 151 and West Main Street. The lieutenant on duty did not say whether any buildings or cars were damaged, but again, this was a targeted incident, police say, and anyone with information can make an anonymous tip by calling 608-837-6300.
There's a statewide search underway for a missing veteran who walked away from the Toma VA. 70-year-old Michael Bates is suffering from dementia. The fear is he may be hitchhiking right now. The Justice Department says he walked away Tuesday morning from the Toma VA campus where he lives. Now, this happened once before, and he went to a nearby casino, but he has not been found there this time. Agents say he took a cab to the Amtrak station in Toma, but didn't get on a bus or a train. In addition to the silver alert, there's a green alert out as well this morning, which is for missing and at-risk veterans like Bates.
Officials in Dane County have until mid-August to decide if they will ask voters about legalizing recreational marijuana. The vote wouldn't change any laws. It would, however, gauge Dane County voters on how they feel with this issue in a poll on the November ballot. Tonight, the Dane County Executive Committee will talk about that referendum, asking voters whether or not marijuana should be legalized, taxed, and regulated, much like alcohol is. Milwaukee County has already approved a referendum on the issue, and Rock County is considering a similar one for this fall's election. That committee is also considering a referendum to close a so-called tax loophole for big box retailers. Members will decide whether the ballot should ask homeowners if they're willing to pick up the tab in their property taxes when large stores argue something called the dark store theory. So a number of big box stores like Lowe's, Walmart, Best Buy, they've petitioned for this here in Wisconsin. The idea is the stores can dramatically reduce their property tax bills by comparing their assessment value to that of a vacant or dark building. The referendum would ask voters if the state legislature should block that loophole.
The state's attorney general says school safety grants could be used to train teachers how to use guns. Brad Schimmel made the comments while he was announcing the latest round of money that state lawmakers authorized for school districts to keep their students safe starting this fall. Now, there's no mention of arming teachers in the new state law, and Governor Walker has indicated he's not in favor of that happening. Madison School District, meanwhile, received nearly $1 million from the state, says it'll use the money to put interior door locks inside all of its high schools by this fall.
Construction's going to stop on Highway PD over the next few days as thousands, tens of thousands of people come to the University Ridge Golf Course for the AmFam Golf Tournament.
So depending on the weather, organizers might actually have to shuttle people in to see some of the big names who are coming to play here in Madison. The tournament's hosted by Edgerton native Steve Stricker. Pros like Jerry Kelly and Fred Couples are going to return to University Ridge as well. More than 50,000 people have come out the last couple of years to this tournament. It takes 1,200 volunteers to run this event, including Steve Stricker and his wife, Nikki.
The entire state calls Steve and Nikki one of their own. We love being a partner with them. Not only are they great brand ambassadors for American Family Insurance, but they're great mentors to our entire tournament team. They've been on the PGA Tour a long time, both Steve and Nikki, and they're able to share their insights on how to run a great PGA Tour event, but more importantly, how to be good citizens of our community and really support our philanthropic efforts.
Speaking of those philanthropic efforts, in the first 2 years, the tournament's raised $2.7 million from more than 100 local charities. Coming up at 6:30, Christina Laurie is going to share more on the parking challenges there at University Ridge. If there's enough rain that people can't actually park next to the course itself.
There were certainly some issues a couple of years ago.
Yes, yeah. 6:06 right now. So for months, a number of years ago, my wife and I wondered why our son could be this wonderful little dude one minute and then a grump the next. And then we learned about hangriness and how he needed to eat to keep his emotions in check. Dr. Mara is here next to talk about how this is a real thing.
What else is a real thing? These clouds and the rain in them, unfortunately. Hattie says, please don't blame the messenger. Her first alert forecast on the summer solstice, really not very summer-like, but it is up next on News 3 this morning.
Good morning from the patio. Kind of a heavy drizzle coming down right now on the west side of town, and you'll want to keep the umbrella close by. On this first day of summer, we have a lot of rain in the forecast, and here are how the last several years stack up as summer began. 2017, not terribly warm, but warmer than today. 71 was our high then. Kind of a warm start in 2016 and 15. You have to go all the way back to 2013 to see a really wet first day of summer, and that's what we have in the forecast today. Our future track high temperatures for today are forecast only in the mid-60s across most of our areas. Some spots maybe even a little bit cooler than that. Notice the warmer temperatures to the north, though. Watoma and Black River Falls topping in the low 70s. More sunshine there, and even as you head into the north woods, temperatures are expected to be a little warmer. A flash flood watch, though, has been posted for the far southern tier of counties in the state starting this morning, going through tomorrow morning. So over the next 24 hours, it's expected to be pretty wet around here. Precipitation potential very high right along the state line, up to 3 inches possible. But those amounts do rapidly diminish as you head to the north, so keep that in mind. This rain event is just affecting the southern part of the state. Now this morning, all the rain has been to our north or west, but you can see those showers increasing in coverage just to the south. They are lifting northward, so I would expect the rain to continue to fill in here across southern Wisconsin as we go through the next couple of hours, and then it's going to be pretty wet through the day. Doppler track zooming out, showing you a band of steady rain all the way from southwestern Minnesota, arching through southern Wisconsin through Illinois. Temperatures under the clouds and rain are generally in the 60s this morning. Here's a look at current temperatures our area. 60 in the Dells, 64 in Janesville, 63 in Platteville right now, 62 here in Madison. Winds are from the east-northeast, and they're expected to increase a little bit today to the 10 to 20 mile an hour range. So that's going to keep things on the chilly side as well. Here's a look at your future track forecast model today. We are looking at on and off rain, again heavy at times to the south and southwest. Here in Madison, showers continue even into the afternoon and evening hours before beginning to diminish a little bit overnight. Our extended forecast, though, with a storm system tracking just to our south, keeps that threat for rain and even isolated thunderstorms in the forecast on Friday. It'll be cool once again with a high of 69. Drying out for the upcoming weekend, just in time for the weekend. More sunshine with highs getting back into the 70s and 80s. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning with Jason Ryan. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. So far in the Beltline, no major delays or any accidents slowing things down in either direction. There is a small delay, though, eastbound near the 1218 interchange, but that shouldn't last too long to interfere with the morning commute. Across Dane County, it's clear out on the interstate and highways, but once again, be careful when in a construction zone for machinery and workers. In downtown, John Nolan seeing a bit of a backup at North Shore, South Blair, tied up at East Wash. The rest of the downtown area free of any delays. With First Alert Traffic, I'm Jason Ryan.
Thank you very much, Jason. Thank you, Hattie. 6:13 right now. Anybody with kids could probably tell you they play a lot of video games. It's so annoying at my house right now. But for some people, it can actually be an addiction. Yeah, the World Health Organization has now classified gaming disorder as a mental health condition. Just this week this happened, and here to talk more about it is our medical expert, Dr. Mandira Mehra from SSM Health. Good morning. Good morning. So I think it's interesting just to even think about this in the first place, that gaming, for some people, it's probably something they already knew, but playing video games can actually interfere in all parts of your life if it reaches this level.
Exactly, and so this is not for your average bear that's playing video games a couple hours in the basement or here and there just for fun. So I don't want everyone to kind of think as video gaming, digital or live, as this evil empire, because it's not necessarily. What we're talking about is the people that are addicted, perhaps the children, perhaps the young adults, that at a point it interferes with their life. So despite having negative consequences to playing video games, despite having interference to your everyday life, you continue to play. And so there's a lot of analogies being made here to the World Health Organization between gaming and, for example, gambling or alcohol addiction, smoking, something like that, where they discuss things like if a gambler were to truly win a large lump sum of money, a normal person that's not addicted would go and maybe buy an airplane or an island. But a gamer, a gambler that has that addictive personality or disorder is actually going to put that money right back in the game. So it's not even really about the winning. And so the same is true for a gaming addiction, is that it's not just about winning the game, it's you just want to stay in action.
Yeah.
And so the positive here with the World Health Organization at least discussing this and talking about the addictive properties is treatment. So the 1 to 10% of children that perhaps are affected by this, we can start treating them appropriately, whether it's cognitive behavioral therapy, medications, just starting to recognize it and affect their lives. Why do we care? We care because as gaming addictions, as addictions like this increase, we see an increase in depression and social anxieties. And so that in turn, of course, affects your everyday life and of course your family dynamic.
All linked together.
Yeah, so in my basement probably right now, my son is awake and he's probably building a Lego castle with his little sister. And if he actually has not eaten yet, there's going to be an issue, Dr. Mara.
Right.
And my wife who's watching or might be watching this right now, we all know this. He gets hungry and he gets angry. And it's a thing. It really is a thing, right?
So if you're watching this morning and you're saying, wow, there is that term hangry. We like to use it kind of colloquially in conversation, but it is becoming a real scientific definition. So just like you said, Adam, it's that hunger and that anger together, we call it hangry. It's a real thing. And so what's happening in our bodies is we have that drop in glucose. We haven't eaten in some time. We also have a spike in cortisol and adrenaline. And so these two hormones really spike when we're stressed. What this study showed was very interesting. It's when we're in negative situations and we're hungry and angry, that hanger actually is real and makes you perceive that situation worse and you react worse. So I'll give you a great example. Let's say you're heading home from work, you haven't eaten in some hours, and suddenly somebody cuts you off. So here's a negative situation and you're hangry. It's not a good combination. So we want to leave
you get road rage.
You get road rage and you're going to react differently and versus having a full stomach and not being hungry, not having that cortisol adrenaline spike. So we of course want to leave the viewers with some good tips. First is really be aware. So be aware of the fact that you haven't eaten in a few hours. The amazing thing about this is we've always known our emotional state affects our physical. So we know if we're sad, that's going to affect the physical. We're saying the reverse is true here, is that our physical state of actually being hungry will affect our emotions. And that's what's so amazing about studies like this. And we can actually take that into account and say we have to be aware, we have to eat things that suppress our appetite that are healthy. So the healthy Greek yogurts, the avocados, the different types of grains, really being aware of that will help us from kind of hulking out like those Snickers commercials.
And to let our viewers know, Dr. Mara did eat a yogurt before she came here this morning.
I ate before I came in, so I'm happy. At work they have the Snickers poster on my door. So
it's good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for coming in. All right, your time right now is 6:17, and coming up we will preview Susan Simon's latest conversation. She had an opportunity recently to speak with the first woman and first Native American to oversee thousands of troops in the Wisconsin National Guard.
I think Dr. Mara just said I could get a candy bar because on the longest day of the year, we're not going to see the sun at all. Talk about your serious bummer. Hattie's watching the radar. She'll have an update next on News 3 This Morning.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. Happy first day of summer. Unfortunately, Mother Nature is not really cooperating with any summertime plans today. We have clouds in place and some rain moving through the area. Take a look at the radar map early this morning and you'll see that there is some rain pushing into southern Wisconsin. We've already had some pretty steady rain to the south and west of Madison this morning. Showers developing in northern Illinois, filling in, and that activity is expected to move through southern Wisconsin. The rain may be heavy at times today and it'll keep temperatures down. We're in the low to mid 60s this morning. Temps will only climb a few degrees today. Look for a high of just 66 degrees this afternoon. Have a wonderful day.
Hattie, thank you so much. A Sun Prairie woman with a distinguished military career is making history in the Wisconsin Army National Guard.
General Joni Matthews is taking on a new leadership position that's another first here in the state of Wisconsin. In 2016, she made history in the Senate chambers at the state capitol when Governor Walker promoted her to Brigadier General, making her the first woman and first Native American to serve as a general in the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Earlier this month, during a formal change of authority ceremony, Matthews became Deputy Adjutant General for the Army. She's responsible now for the mentorship and guidance of 7,000 Wisconsin Army National Guard soldiers.
You know, a lot of people tell me that, you know, it's really great to be first, and it is really good to be first, but I didn't get there alone. When I had family that supported me, I had awesome co-workers, superiors, subordinates, officers enlisted alike, all along my career that helped me get to where I am today. And
so there are more than 1,400 women right now in the Wisconsin Army National Guard, which represents 21% of the force. Tonight on News 3 at 10, our Susan Simon shares her conversation with General Matthews about her accomplishments and what it means to the Native American community.
Looking forward to that very much.
Yeah.
Coming up, we will share the latest on flooding in northern Wisconsin and how the National Guard is being called up to help. And Leah Lynchite previews the sentencing of a former UW student today and a number of sexual assaults on campus. The day's top stories are next on News 3 this morning. The parents of a man who sexually assaulted multiple women on the UW-Madison campus say they believe the survivors' stories. We will share some of those stories in minutes.
And state lawmakers are considering whether to study how much Wisconsin pays to keep people in prison after learning one facility is spending $140 per inmate per day.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning. 6:27 right now on this Thursday morning, June 21st, first day of the summer.
First day of summer, 62 degrees. Only get into the mid-60s, so super summer-like out there, right, Hattie? Hopefully you don't have to use that umbrella.
I don't need the umbrella right now, but you have to make your own sunshine today. Mother Nature is not going to provide it. We have clouds in place this morning, and already it's a pretty wet start to the day across parts of our viewing area. Let's take a look at the flash flood watches that have been issued from this morning through tomorrow morning. So over the next 24 hours, we're talking about some pretty heavy rain along the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. Now this morning, the heaviest steady rain has been to our north and west, where we're seeing light to moderate rain at this hour. Showers, though, starting to increase in northern Illinois, and they're moving in this direction. So the rain is going to fill in today across all of southern Wisconsin. Our day planner temperatures take us to highs only in the mid-60s, and considering that we're in the low 60s right now, we're only going to move a couple of degrees today. Here's a look at your first alert traffic update this morning. Things have been pretty quiet so far. Early this morning, we are seeing some brake lights, though, southbound on 151. Otherwise, no delays on the Beltline. We have traffic times and speeds into Madison. You're not adding any minutes just yet if you're coming in from the surrounding communities. And that's your first alert traffic.
Thank you very much, Hattie. We start the news this half hour with the words of UW sexual assault survivors who now want to see their attacker sent to prison for the next 40 years.
A judge will take their stories into consideration when former student Alec Cook is sentenced later this morning. Cook pleaded guilty to multiple charges earlier this year. Our Leah Linscheid has more from the letters to the court this morning. Good morning, Leah.
Prosecutors are asking for 19 years and 6 months behind bars for Alec Cook. Survivors of his attack say no sentence will ever atone for his crimes. We're going to focus on their words this morning in letters written to the judge to consider in his sentencing. Here is how one of those letters reads. I still don't have my life back. I still wake up screaming from violent nightmares about Cook. I still feel powerless over the fact that my 21st birthday, my entire junior year of college, my ownership over my own body, and my basic ability to trust people have all been stolen from me. I've experienced violence no one should ever have to experience, and I don't think I'll ever feel safe again. I'm furious I will spend the rest of my life trying to heal from Cook's actions. Part of me died in order to survive that night with him, and that part will never grow back. That survivor and others want Cook to get the maximum sentence of 40 years in prison. The state, though, is asking for half of that, and also asking that Cook register as a sex offender for the rest of his life. His parents, too, are apologizing to the survivors, saying they believe them, but are also hoping for redemption for their son. Now, Cook is expected in court at 9 this morning. We're going to update you with his sentence on channel3000.com.
All right, Leah Linscheid reporting live from the News Center. Thank you, Leah.
6:30 right now. The legislature's audit committee will talk about whether it wants to look into the cost to keep people in prison here in Wisconsin. The Department of Corrections reports there are more than 23,000 adult inmates in Wisconsin prisons right now, costing the state more than $730 million over the last year. That breaks down to anywhere between $73 and $140 per inmate each day, depending on the facility. Now, this proposed audit comes as a petition is circulating to close the Green Bay Correctional Institution because of its high operating costs that are being blamed on the building's age.
State auditors will share later this morning how University of Wisconsin schools interact with their private foundations. This comes after the UW Board of Regents sued two former UW Oshkosh administrators for using taxpayer money to pay for foundation projects. The two men face felony charges related to that incident. Lawmakers threatened to take money away from the UW system if diversions were happening regularly. This audit and another of the UW system as a whole should reveal whether that is happening. The National Guard will help with recovery in northern Wisconsin after destructive flooding over the past week.
So the people who live near Big Manitou Falls that you see right there near Superior say they have never seen the waterfall there raged like it's raging right now. Governor Walker activated the troops to help 5 counties in northern Wisconsin that are still under a state of emergency right now. Those areas received more than a foot of rain over the weekend. Authorities say 2 people died in that flooding that happened afterwards.
6:31 right now, and the people running this weekend's AmFam Championship expect tens of thousands of people here in Madison this year, even though the weather won't be super golf friendly to start out the tournament.
There are chances for rain when professional play actually starts tomorrow. Our Christina Laurie joins us now with what you'll see if you're heading to the tournament. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Adam and Danica. Construction crews have been working for 6 weeks to transform University Ridge Golf Course into a professional tournament course. This year, spectators can expect more seating options. From those seats, you can catch a glimpse of some major star power Saturday in particular, as a celebrity foursome will hit the course for a 9-hole exhibition. Lee Trevino, Brett Favre, Derek Jeter, and Andy North will follow the final group of tournament players for a scramble after the 10th hole. While the no-cut 54-hole tournament brings lots of big names to Madison, it's about much more than golf. In its first 2 years, the PGA Tour Champions event raised $2.7 million for more than 100 local charities. And some good news for spectators, getting to the course this year shouldn't be too much of a problem. The construction going on around University Ridge will be temporarily put on hold for the next few days, and Madison Police will be on hand to direct fans where to park.
We have 2 different parking plans. If the fields are dry, we were allowed to park everybody right on course, right next to the golf course, and everybody be close in that fashion. If our fields do get wet, then we transfer everybody off-site to surface lots and shuttle them in.
Those shuttles will run constantly every 3 to 5 minutes, and you can still buy tickets to the tournament. Adult general admission costs $25, while a champion ticket is available for spectators 50 and older for $20. Kids and members of the military get in for free. I put a link on how you can purchase tickets on our website, channel3000.com. And if you're not a big fan of golf, there's still something happening this weekend for you. The American Family Championship concert featuring REO Speedwagon, Sarah Evans, and 1,000 Horses is tomorrow night at Breeze Stevens Field. NBA great Shaquille O'Neal will also be there to put his DJ skills on display, performing 2 20-minute sets during the concert.
Yeah, well, let's talk about REO Speedwagon. That's my...
Are you kidding? Shaq DJing? That is like the greatest thing I've heard all week.
Christina Laurie, thank you.
Your time right now is almost 6:34, and we are watching high lake levels throughout the area this morning, as there's a chance we'll get even more rain like we've been talking about over the next few days. We'll have an update here in about 10 minutes.
And we love people helping people stories here on the program, but how about people helping bear cubs?
Yes, please.
That's pretty darn cool as well. We'll share the rescue from northern Wisconsin when News 3 This Morning returns. Welcome back on this Thursday morning, 6:37 right now, the time in the morning. We always ask you to share a little bit of your morning with us, and Todd emailed this picture to us with the slogan, life in the country.
Indeed.
I like that country, wherever it might be. So thank you very much, Todd. That's very cool. And you know, we're not going to see the sun much today,
right.
So that's even what's nicer about it.
Yeah, let's just kind of sit with this for a second. And what does your morning look like? It might be a little more gray this morning, but that's all right. Take a picture, post it over on our Facebook page, Twitter page, Instagram page, whatever it is. Use the hashtag MyNews3Morning, and we always share our favorites here on the program.
So this next story is going to blow up the internet today,
Yep.
I'm convinced. It's about a bear cub that's back in the woods with its mother this morning after it fell into a newly built open basement in Eagle River.
This is so cute. Department of Natural Resources Warden Dave Walls came to the little guy's rescue. He and the homeowner put down that ladder you see there, did some off-camera coaching to help navigate this little guy to safety. The cub's mother was actually watching the whole thing from a distance. And you can see there, the cub successfully scaled the ladder, was fine, and scurried off.
That's good stuff.
That is really great.
So today, June 21st, is the summer solstice. Summer started at 5:07 this morning. Weather-wise, though, we're not going to see much resemblance to summer. It'll be cooler, cloudier. Hattie says there's a chance for rain throughout the day. Our first alert forecast is up next.
First, though, it is June 21st, and if you have a little kiddo turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV. And thank you for watching News 3 This Morning.
Look
Taking a live look outside right now from the WISC-TV Skycam. It's going to be a gray, cloudy, chance for rain pretty much all day today. Hattie says it's a don't blame the messenger kind of forecast that she's going to be sharing here in a minute or two. But first, there are a lot of people who live along a number of lakes in our area who are worried because those lakes are reaching record-breaking levels after heavy rain over the weekend in the last few days.
And this can get dangerous. Dane County leaders are hoping to limit the damage from the recent rain. They've declared slow no-wake restrictions for several of the lakes in the area. That includes Lake Monona, Lake Wabeesa, and Lake Kaganza. Those lakes, the levels there are getting close to matching century-old flood elevations.
So Lake Kaganza is currently the worst as it's now past its 100-year flood stage mark. People who live along the shore say they haven't seen any damage yet, but say if the water gets any higher, it could push their boats and docks out to the middle of the lake.
Yikes.
The county says it's trying to fix that by opening up the dams in the area, clearing out some of the vegetation and the sediment to help drain the water.
And while we wait for a break from all of this rain, city alders are warning people in the low-lying areas here in the city to get those sandbags ready to avoid some water damage on their own property. We have rain in the forecast today and going into tomorrow as well. So anyone who needs them can pick up sandbags for free at several beach locations. We have some of those on your screen there and a full list up at channel3000.com. Again, this forecast, Hattie, not the one that those people living around the lake were necessarily hoping for.
No, not at all. More rain in the forecast today has prompted flash flood watches for the far southern part of the state. The following counties shaded in green are under that flash flood watch from this morning through tomorrow morning, so for about the next 24 hours. Now, our severe weather threats mainly hinge on rain. Scattered rumbles of thunder and some lightning possible today. No damaging wind or hail expected, but heavy rain is possible with any of these showers and thunderstorms, up to 3 inches total over the next 24 hours. Several of the rivers in our area are already under river flood warnings. You can see those green shaded blocks on the map for those particular rivers. And again, some of the rivers that are in danger of exceeding flood stage over the next 24 hours are the Pecatonica River, the Sugar River, the Rock River, especially south of Koshkonong, Turtle Creek, and Fox River are all in danger. So these rivers will likely be impacted over the next 24 hours. And this is what we're talking about. Widespread rain west of Madison this morning continues to rotate from south to north across the region. Showers are starting to fill in now across northern parts of Illinois, and all of that activity is lifting northward today. So rain is in our forecast. It's a fairly narrow band of rain stretching from southern Minnesota all the way down through eastern parts of Illinois into Indiana this morning. The actual area of low pressure responsible for all this rain is in Iowa, and it's going to ride right along this stationary front over the next 24 hours. So keeping it in northern Illinois, which puts that heavy rain possible for parts of northern Illinois and far southern Wisconsin. Note the northern part of the state stays dry with this particular system, so this just impacts southern Wisconsin. As that storm system tracks away from us on Friday, if it pushes a little bit further to the south, we may be able to take some of the rain chances out of the area, but we'll see how that goes today. There still is a chance for rain through Friday, things drying out then on Saturday. Here's a live look in Platteville this morning with our Queen Bee Radio Sky Cam. Platteville's already seen some rain early today, 63 degrees there right now, 63 in Mineral Point, only 62 here in Madison. Those temperatures are not expected to climb much today. Take a look at future track. Temperatures climbing just into the low to mid 60s for the afternoon. Much warmer to the north where that rain is not expected to move this afternoon. Rain though continues through the afternoon right into the evening for most of southern Wisconsin. Here's a look at your precipitation potential. Heaviest amounts south and southwest of Madison, where up to 3 inches is possible. Those amounts rapidly decrease as you head to the north. Here's a look at your forecast then. We have temperatures that will definitely be on the cool side. Today's the first official day of summer. Temperatures are about 15 degrees cooler than what they would normally be today. 66 for our high, 69 tomorrow. Better chances for sunshine this weekend, so just hang on a couple of days. We'll get back into the 80s by Sunday. Here's a look at Luke in Evansville. This picture was taken on a sunnier day.
Yes.
What a good dog, though. It'll be a little soggy for a walk today.
Gotta get the towels ready for the paws.
Yes. Definitely. I was about to say muddy paws, muddy fur for Luke there. Good looking pup, though. Yeah. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Morning Sprint's coming up next. First, though, here is Gail King with a preview of CBS This Morning.
Ahead on CBS This Morning, we'll break down President Trump's executive order to end the separation of families at the border. Former White House Homeland Security Advisor Fran Townsend is here with insight into the reunification process. And only on CBS This Morning, we'll hear from a former Purdue former sales rep who says the drug maker engaged in deceptive sales practices for OxyContin, how the tactic may have impacted the opioid epidemic. We'll see you 7 o'clock.
10 minutes to 7, time for the morning sprint. Hattie says the first day of summer is not going to feel summer-like at all. Malia Lynchide's reporting on today's sentencing of a former UW student on sexual assault charges.
Christina Laurie has more on the traffic plans as tens of thousands of people attend the AmFam Championship this weekend. But we start on Capitol Hill this morning, where House Republicans plan to vote today on 2 immigration reform bills. Both pieces of legislation include plans to keep families together if they're caught coming into the country illegally. This comes after President Trump signed an executive order allowing parents and kids to stay together at the U.S.-Mexico border for 20 days while adults wait to be federally prosecuted. The president will meet with members of his cabinet today to go over the details of that executive order.
The president claims North Korea has returned the remains of 200 U.S. troops missing since the Korean War. We don't know yet if any of them are from Wisconsin. The president told a crowd in Duluth, Minnesota last night this is one of the benefits from the summit he had earlier this month with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. There are roughly 2,500 U.S. service members whose bodies were never found after the Korean War.
Governor Walker's approval rating is at the highest level it's been since he ran for president in 2016, 47% exactly. That's according to the latest Marquette Law School poll results released yesterday. Among the 10 Democrats running to take on the governor in November, State Superintendent Tony Evers is in the lead. 34% of the Democratic voters surveyed say that they do not know who they would choose in the August primaries.
Same poll asked registered voters their views on the Foxconn plant coming to Racine County. 46% of those surveyed think the $3 billion taxpayers are giving the companies more than it's worth, while 40% believe the 13,000 jobs promised will provide as much value as the state is investing in it, if not more. 13% don't have an opinion on that issue.
The state wants to put a convicted sexual assaulter behind bars for nearly 2 decades after a string of attacks on the UW campus. Former UW student Alec Cook will hear how many years he'll spend behind bars at his sentencing later this morning. That decision will be based in part on what survivors want. They submitted letters to the court, one of them reading in part of me died in order to survive that night with him, and that part will never grow back. The state is asking for nearly 20 years behind bars and that Cook be registered as a sex offender for the rest of his life. Cook is expected in court at 9 this morning. We'll have an update on his sentence on channel3000.com.
Leah, thank you. The Columbia County Sheriff's Department and the medical examiner there will continue looking at the body of a 13-year-old boy today. Dive teams spent 4 days searching for Sean Wolfarth in Silver Lake and Portage. A volunteer organization brought in sonar and radar technology to help finally find his body. Silver Lake is back open to the public this morning.
State lawmakers are talking today about whether they want auditors to look into the cost to keep people in prison here in Wisconsin. Department of Corrections reports there are more than 23,000 adult inmates in Wisconsin prisons right now, costing the state more than $730 million this past year. That breaks down to anywhere between $73 and $140 per inmate each day, depending on the facility.
And maybe more of an inside than outside day today with rain in the forecast. Flash flood watches in effect for far southern Wisconsin today through tomorrow morning. Rain is already spreading into the area from south to north, and those showers will increase in coverage and intensity as we head towards the afternoon hours. Here's a look at our temperature trend today. It's going to be a cool one. Highs only in the mid-60s this afternoon.
Thank you, Hattie, very much. Officials in Dane County have until mid-August to decide if they will ask voters about legalizing recreational marijuana. Tonight, the Dane County Executive Committee will talk about that possible referendum, which would ask voters if marijuana should be legalized, taxed, and regulated like alcohol. Milwaukee County has already approved a referendum on this issue, and Rock County is considering a similar one for this fall's election.
A number of Madison business owners are concerned about a redesign of a busy downtown intersection. The Common Council signed off on spending $4 million to untangle the area where John Nolan, Willie Wilson, and Blair Streets all connect just east of the state capitol. Now, the updates are meant to increase safety by adding left turn lanes, rerouting a bike path, and moving the entrance of a shopping center farther away from that intersection. The owner of Machinery Row Bikes says that's going to make it more difficult for customers to get into his shop. Construction could start next year.
The 3rd annual American Family Insurance Championship returns in Madison this weekend, bringing with it a lot more than just golf. In its first 2 years, the PGA Tour Champions event raised $2.7 million for more than 100 local charities. Construction crews have been working for 6 weeks to transform University Ridge Golf Course into a professional tournament, and road construction leading up to the course will be temporarily put on hold Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to ease congestion. Madison resident Steve Stricker hosts the tournament and will return to play, along with Jerry Kelly, defending champ Fred Couples, and new players Davis Love III and Vijay Singh.
Christina, thank you. Now, weather permitting, construction crews will continue tearing down the walls of the old General Motors plant in Janesville today, and the city now has an extra $500,000 to offset the cost of that demolition. The state grant should cover tearing down 6 different buildings, including the nearly 4 million square foot plant. Demolition on that site started last month, and the company expects that work to be finished in June of 2020.
The state's attorney general says school safety grants could be used to train teachers how to use guns. Brad Schimmel made the comments while he was announcing the latest round of money state lawmakers authorized for school districts to keep their students safe starting this fall. Now, there's no mention of arming teachers in the new state law, and Governor Walker's indicated he's not in favor of that happening. Madison School District, meanwhile, received nearly $1 million, says it will use the money to put interior door locks inside all of its high schools right off the bat.
Starting today, more than 400 musical acts are going to be performing at 100 or so venues around Madison for the 6th annual Make Music Madison Festival. Musicians will be playing at Bree Stevens Field, Alumni Park, the Children's Museum, and the Central Library, as well as street corners around the city. Now, the city does spend around $45,000 to put everything together, but all of these performances are free. We have a link to the times and locations right over on channel3000.com.
It is 6:56 right now. There's some wet roads out there. We're expecting more. Let's turn it over to Jason Ryan for a look at your first alert traffic this morning. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. We are seeing some delays on westbound I-90, northbound I-39, right between highways M, N, and N. Still no issues on the Beltline for the morning commute. It's free of delays and accidents at the moment, but be careful around the Verone Road exit as that's starting to back up. Downtown becoming busier with delays on John Nolan and North Shore. South Blair backed up at East Wash. Most of the streets on the Capitol Square starting to back up with traffic. Your drive time's normal around the city, but it's a little slower than usual on Campus Drive, so be ready if you plan on using that way. With First Alert Traffic, I'm Jason Ryan.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
And you can leave the sunglasses at home, but grab the umbrella before you head out the door this morning. Rain is in our forecast for today. It is going to be a cool day as well, with high temperatures only in the middle 60s. Rain showers in the forecast all day today, right into tonight. Here's a look at that extended forecast. We have temperatures that will climb into the upper 60s tomorrow, but then with more sunshine this weekend, we finally get back into the 70s and 80s. Just a slight chance for a shower or thunderstorm on Sunday.
So they were really worried at the AmFam whether they were going to have to bus people in because of the rain, because you couldn't park on the grass. Are we thinking there's going to be?
Probably. I think so.
You know what they should do is download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather and Traffic app. Make sure they stay up to date with the radar and stay dry there. So, all right, thanks so much for joining us. You stay dry as well. We'll see you tomorrow.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.